Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Joe Barber. Just jumping online to share a couple of thoughts. It is 10:08, and today is what, the 27th, 28th, something like that. It's Monday. Yeah, no, it's the 28th or 29th today, something like that. So, regardless, I'm just jumping online because I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind, and I've been trying to process it and being able to word it correctly. I've been on my spiritual journey for a while now. I mean, for a little bit. I don't want to say a while because I know different people interpret that different. So I've been really going through it for at least 6 months, where I've been like questioning my existence, questioning who I am, what I want, what makes me happy, what makes me sad, understanding how energy works. As far as that, I've been doing that over a year, but I started learning about like my paradigm shift a year ago. I started following Bob Proctor and Dr. Joe Dispenza. Then they introduced me to other people as I watched their videos and whatnot. Started researching, started doing my morning meditation, started doing a lot of self-development, reading books. I started ordering a lot of books. Then I got this app now that I can use in the mornings. So when I'm driving, I can listen to them, and they pretty much break down a lot of different books hundreds of books that you can listen to 15 minutes a day. I do it in the morning and at night before they go to sleep. So that's the kind of habit that you got to build, working on yourself and realizing what it is you need to work on. A lot of us have fears. A lot of us we've been programmed to think certain things, whether our culture, our parents, whether, our neighborhood, or whether, our environment. Different things have been put in our lives, and we base a lot of our decisions and a lot of our emotions based off of that. And there's a lot of people out there that have experienced different things, so they share their perspective, their ideals, and nothing is absolute truth except God. That's it. I know a lot of professionals out there are giving their 2 cents and very helpful. You got people that write books, you got people, but they're not absolute truth. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you need to hear, and at that time, you heard it when you needed to hear it. So that's great. The one thing that I want to touch on is I hear the word toxic. That's like the big word right now. Toxic. For a lot of people, there's a great awakening happening, which is great. I'm all for that. I'm really excited about that. But I think that there's a lot of misinterpretation or a misuse of the word toxic. Now, there is people out there that are negative. They've been brought up that way. They're in survival mode, basically. Everything that they face is survival mode. Like they come at it that way. They come in with that kind of aggression, or they take everything personal. They don't accept. Their mind is not open to receive like the bigger picture. They see things one way. I was that person, so I know. You see things one way, and if someone says something, you take it personal, like if they're attacking you, or if they're attacking your beliefs, or they're attacking whatever. So those kind of people, I understand the people that come at you that way. But I hear and I read a lot of people that are on my Facebook or my Instagram where they're sharing like, oh, you got to stay away from toxic people. Because you could label everything toxic. You could label traffic toxic. You could label a bad basketball coach toxic, a basketball team toxic. You could label your job toxic, the people that you work around toxic. And it's like, I know that there's situations that are bad for you. I know there's things that happen that are bad, and you're like, man, I'm in a bad situation. It's a fight or flight, right? And it's like, oh no, well, get out of there, bro. Just dip, just hit the emergency exit and get the hell out of there. I'm not big on that, only because I feel that it goes against what God's love is there for. We have to understand, and this is for anybody, and I'm not attacking anybody individually. Like it's not that. I'm just sharing my experience, and what my experience is that it clashes with what God's love has done for me. What God has done for me, He's had mercy, He's had grace on me. He's displayed, compassion. He's displayed empathy, because we're all imperfect people. Now we're on this route to perfection. And which is great to want to work on yourself and believe in yourself. But at the same time, when you label people toxic and you're like, oh, I'm just going to cut that person out of my life, you have to understand that some of those people, and yeah, it's not your job. Everyone says, it's not my job to make you happy. It's not my job to fix you. But the thing is, sometimes you're the only light that person gets to see. You know what I'm saying? So if you're so determined to protect your light and be like, nah, man, it's like, imagine having a flashlight and someone's in the dark and you got your flashlight and you're like, oh man, well, that dude, can't see really well, but I got my flashlight. Well, now I got to protect my flashlight because, it's my light and I don't even know that dude like that. And maybe he deserves to be in the dark and blah, blah, blah. The thing is, the way I look at it and the way I perceive it, and this is my experience, I'm not projecting this on anybody. This is just my thoughts and I'm just putting it out into the universe, into the earth, so people can understand. So it maybe brings another perspective to it. And, I just feel like you don't want to live your life like that. And I know it hurts. I've been hurt numerous amount of times. Me displaying love, me displaying mercy, me displaying grace. I don't do it for me to glorify me. I do it to glorify the Father. I glorify God that way. That's how I display that I've been saved. That's how I display that I love God. And if I use the mentality of, oh man, I got to get away from toxic people. And yes, there comes a season when you got to be by yourself and you got to understand what your purpose is. You got to be purpose driven. You got to understand, but that doesn't give you a pass to stay away from, the toxicness that everyone's labeling. And I'm like, bro, a lot of times those things that happen to us or the way people view us or people treat us, we have a little something to do with that. There's things that we've done that we've allowed or we agreed upon. And it's like, okay, man, we have this covenant with each other. So there's people that you love and that you've invested in and that you it's like a marriage, like y'all agree. People are going to change and people are going to work, right? And people are going to fail you. So sometimes people will betray your love, your trust, your whatever. But if they're making the effort to change and they're making the effort to grow, and you don't know people's heart, you don't know their mind, you don't know what they're doing, you can try to guide them as much as possible. But the only thing is that the question is like, well, how many times do you forgive somebody? How many times has God forgiven you? You act like you just became mature, like straight out the womb. You just knew it. And it's like, but that's your life. That's your choice. But for me, I'm just saying there's times that people have done me wrong. People have taken my money. People have talked behind my back. People have done all these things, but you know what I do? I just give it to God. I say, you know what, God, I'm going to lay this at your feet. Let you deal with it and let you deal with that stress. I'm still growing and I'm still learning and I'm still applying. I feel like, yes, I can manifest things. Yes, I can believe things. Yes. But at the end of it all, the root of my strength and the root of my faith is all in God. It's all in God. You can call it the universe. You can call it all these things. God spoke us into existing. God spoke. So that's why our words are so powerful, because we have that in us. It's in our DNA. A lot of us don't know it. A lot of us don't believe it, and it's okay. But I'm saying that's why words are so powerful. Now, I don't ever want to feel like you got to stay in a destructive relationship. You don't got to stay in an abusive relationship. You don't got to stay in. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you're in a position to where things are happening and you feel like, oh man, well, I got to turn my back on this person because they did this and did that. I think a lot of times we have to take the time out to say, okay, how did I contribute to this? And what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? If there's a way that you can get professional help, you can get a therapist, a counselor, whatever, to try to help you understand the situation. Because when you make a covenant with someone, man, whether it's a loved one, whether it's a business partner, whatever it may be, even in friendship, people are going to let you down. But you have to understand grace. You have to understand love. You have to understand forgiveness, because sometimes things that keep happening, and it's like, man, well, this always happens to me. This always happens to me. Well, sometimes it's not the people around you that are the problem. It's you that's the problem. And you have to be able to understand that. I was the problem in certain situations where I'm like, man, why do I keep having this repetitive problem with, for example, with me, I would hire barbers, give them benefit of the doubt, and then try to, work them up, get them to get clientele. They have bad habits. They don't come in early. They don't stay late. They leave whenever it's slow. They don't market. They don't keep their themselves looking like a barber. How do people know you cut hair? And why should anybody in the city get in your chair when there's 14,000 other barbers in the city? Like, you have to change your mindset. Sometimes these barbers believe like, well, I'm cutting at your shop, I should be making $1,000 a week. And it's like, you could be, but if your skills are not up to that level, if your customer service is not up to that level, if all these areas that make you a successful barber are not up to that level, then no matter how good I do what I do at my shop, you're not going to be able to thrive. And you can't put that blame on me or the business. That has everything to do with you and your habits and your mindset. If you constantly think, man, it's slow, man, it's slow, then that's all you're going to see. It's slow. You're always going to see the negative part of it. Can I say that person is toxic? Can I label them toxic because that's what they are? No, I can't do that because they're young, they're immature, and they're inexperienced. So maybe that person was brought into my shop in order for me to share my wisdom, my empathy, my love, my mercy onto them, because maybe that's the only light that they'll see from God. So that's why I say it's important to not fight or flight kind of mentality or live in that survival, like, oh man, that person's toxic. You're never going to grow. You're never going to mature. You may grow with yourself, but situations are put in your life for a reason. And you have to be able to work on your patience, work on your love, work on serving, work on, questioning things. But it's like, I heard this quote that Mike Tyson, of all people, Mike Tyson was saying that he's like, man, some dude was saying like, yeah, man, people that do me wrong, I cut them off just like that, man. I don't got time for that. I don't got blah, blah, blah. And then Mike Tyson's is like, man, when you do that, the devil wins. He's like, the devil wins. I'm doing what's right for me. I'm giving up on these people because they're toxic and they're, taking my energy and taking my time and doing me wrong. And he's like, but when you were the person of displaying love and being gracious and being all these great qualities, the devil took that from you. So now you're going to be like this, protecting yourself, and you're never going to let anybody in. And you lost that. So the devil wins because he needs more people to think that way. Because when people are grasping for light and people are grasping for love and people are grasping for mercy, there's no one to be displayed because we're all like, hey, man, you got to find your own way, bro. Like, I got my light and I'm only going to shine it on people that shine for me. People that invest in me, I invest in them. It's like, and I understand the logic behind it, man. I really do. But it just bothers my spirit because then I know that, man, if we all function that way, if we all function in that mentality, ain't nobody going to be saved around here. There's souls that need to be saved. It's not our job to save anybody, but it's our job to display it. It's our job to plant seeds. You don't have to be there to make the flower grow, but you got to plant the seeds for people and let God do the rest. But sometimes we have that purpose and we have to be the ones to nurture people, nurture that. It's not our job. It's not our duty per se, but that's sometimes our purpose at times. Every season we serve a purpose for that. But if we're just driven for money and we're just driven for fame and we're just driven because look at my body, look how beautiful I look. When you lose that, then what do you have left? What do you have left? Because we all preach about money, and I'm all for that, man. Literacy, financial literacy is important. Being on top of your stuff is important. Understanding business, understanding money, understanding how to, compound interest, all that stuff, man. But I already know that money comes and money goes. You're going to make money, you're going to lose money, and you got to be okay with that. I'm a risk taker myself. I've lost a lot of money. I've made a lot of money. I've met great people. I've lost good friends. People have passed away. All these things. I've experienced so many things. And I've also experienced God's grace in my life. And that is so much more important than me understanding financial literacy, than me understanding that, oh man, this person is toxic, man. If you do me wrong, I'm cutting you. Nah, man, that mentality is not right. You have to be balanced, man. And I'm all for quality of life. I'm all for you being less stressed out. I'm all for that. But like I said, my thing is spiritually, if you're a spiritual person and you believe God put you on this earth for a reason, understand that you're an instrument. You're an instrument, man, and God has tuned you to be a specific. You can't be a guitar and expect to play like a drum. You can't play the same rhythm on the drum that you play on the guitar. So sometimes when you see somebody that is doing something and they're playing to that tune, and you're like, man, I want to be like that. I want to have that money. I want to have that blah. But you don't know all the stuff that person had to go through to get to that level, and they still have a lot more to go through. A lot of us aren't transparent that way. A lot of us don't even share the right story or the complete story. I don't want to say the right story. I want to say the complete story, because the narrative doesn't attract. It doesn't make you famous. It doesn't make you appealing. It doesn't make you whatever it may be, whatever the narrative needs to be for right now for people to follow you. A lot of people are avoiding the truth, and yeah, a lot of people want to be by themselves. A lot of people want to work out and be in shape and be in their best from outside. But I'm like, man, make sure that your inside matches your outside. Because I know people that are swole, veins, everything, look good, chiseled, and you could tell that their spirit's broken. So they have to look good on the outside. And I'm not against working out. Believe me, I think working out is great. It lets you release stress. It builds up your immune system. It also releases endorphins and all that to make you feel good. I'm for that. But if by you doing that becomes your identity, you're losing the most important part of you. And that's all I'm trying to say. I see so many people like that, and I don't like being judgmental towards people at all, because that's not healthy for me, and that's not healthy for people in general. Just like doing that. A lot of us have been brought up that way, like, oh, look at her, oh, look at this, look at that. And it's like, dude, you don't know that person's life. You don't know that person's walk. You don't know who's influencing them, what they're feeding themselves, whether it's physically feeding yourself, what kind of food, what's been taught in your mind, and the amount of people that are around you that show you that, hey, I'm not your competition, bro. I'm showing you that it can be done. That's my story. I'm from the projects. I'm from the hood. I came from nothing. I came from Section 8, government cheese, all that kind of stuff. Am I at my peak? No. Have I experienced the good life per se when it comes to finances? Absolutely. I've done that. I've been able to I can attest to making over $100,000 just cutting hair, cutting celebrities, flying all over the country, being called to do barber battles, winning barber battles, being on TV, doing work with, professional teams, all that kind of, I did all that. Is it, am I against it? Absolutely not. I know friends that are, celebrity barbers that are pushing themselves to do all these things. But I feel like sometimes no one, or I haven't found any barber that is taking the time to really be transparent with the ups and downs of life. And I'm inspired by a lot of barbers, but I'm more so inspired by the people in my life that have shown grace and have shown mercy. And yes, man, you're going to have a lot of battle scars from loving people. You're going to have a lot of battle scars from trusting people. You're going to have a lot of battle scars from investing in people, and they falter and they fall off. They veer off the track, and they don't keep God first. And I feel like our generation is, oh yeah, man, we have this great awakening, but it's like we're putting ourselves on the altar. And that's the problem. It's like, you cannot do that. That altar belongs to God. Yes, we are descendants of the Most High. I claim that. I am the son of the Father. But at the same time, I have to display his qualities, not worldly qualities. That's not my thing. I'm not here to say that I know it. I don't know it all, man. I'm moving through this life just like you. I've taken time to reflect on myself. I've taken time to really analyze what I want out of life. I have a choice. I can sell my barbershop. I can go work by myself and for sure, I can make at least $2,000 a week just cutting hair by myself. But the fact is, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to invest into people. My purpose is to reach people. My purpose is to guide other people. Now, I can guide you. My tool and my profession is cutting hair. That's what I do. I cut hair. I love it. But my purpose to be here on earth and what I'm here to do is to guide people and show them, look, man, you need to understand that you're worth more than whatever you've been brought up to believe. I can show you what I've been through. I can share my story and tell you these are the things, these are the highs of my life, and these are the lows of my life. And everything in between happened for a reason. It's either because I needed to learn a lesson, or it's because it's a direct result of my decisions and my choices, or I can blame my mom, my dad, my grandma, everybody that didn't know any better and they didn't guide me right. And I could live the life of a victim. But either way, we can break things down and see which one's going to take me further in life. And I promise you, man, when you keep God first and you keep pushing and you display God's love and his mercy, it's going to open your eyes and really allow you to be blessed. And you're gonna lose sometimes, bro. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose time. You're gonna lose energy. But you can't let that knock you off course and be like, man, I invested all this time into this person and they did me wrong, man. The hell with them and blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, and I'm not telling you to just keep getting hit in the face and be like, oh, it's okay because Joe said, nah, man, that's not what it is. Don't listen to me. Listen to God. I'm just a vessel. You know what I'm saying? When God puts something in my heart, I speak it. And if there's nothing to be said, I will not say just to get views or to, oh, my content creator, all that. I don't believe in all that stuff, the way they do it. And believe me, people are making money. But the fact is that I'm about the truth and absolute truth. And God is absolute truth. You can see it outside, the way the seasons work, the way the grass grows, the way things work, the way our spirit grows, the way we feel things, the way our heart keeps bumping, and we don't even know because our subconscious is keeping that going. Who created this body? Who designed it to work this way? Who designed the earth, the seasons, the trees, the grass, the wind to blow, the sun to stay shining? Who designed all that? You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I hang my hat on and say, you know what, every day, no matter what happens in my life, I could have a good day, a bad day. If I'm still breathing, it's a good day. And good and bad is going to happen, but you can't see it as good and bad. You got to see it as that needed to happen in order for me to see this or to know this or to learn this. And it's okay, cool, man. I learned that. I'll process it. Cool. Now I have that in the bag. Now when something like this happens, I'm going to get a little bit better and a little bit better. And just because you go through 1, 2, 3 incidences doesn't mean you got it down. Like, okay, man, this is exactly, every situation is different. Everybody comes from a different background. Everybody has different thoughts. Everybody has different beliefs. And not even that, there's other spirits and demonic things working outside of it. Remember, the war is not in the flesh. The war is in the spirit. You have to understand that too. That's another thing. People don't understand that the war is not in the flesh. What we see in this 3D dimensional life that we see, there's things working that we don't even realize. And that's another thing that we forget. So when we throw around this word of toxic and this, man, how do you know that person's not being affected by something greater than just their thoughts, something greater than just their life and what they see? There's other things. If this person holds value, it's like what comes to mind is that dude, John Connor from Terminator. Like, he doesn't even know how important and valuable he is, but everyone's really willing to protect him to make sure he makes it to the future because he's such a vital person in the future that helps destroy, you know, whatever. And that's that war. Well, that's how it is for us. It's important that we realize that we are like a John Connor. We're going to make a difference for 1, 2, 3, maybe 20, maybe 100, maybe 1,000 people that needed to hear our story. We needed to go through all these obstacles in order for us to have that success story that a lot of people gravitate towards, man. I promise you. So I'm just saying that word toxic and how we're throwing it around and trying to avoid some of the hardships of life, some of the broken pieces and some of the heartache. It's like, man, that is very important for us to experience. And I know I want people to be smart about what they want to surround themselves with, what they accept, who they are, you know, and where the limits, you know, and boundaries. All that is important. But you can't, you know, especially like in a marriage, and you get married before God and you take vows and things may happen. You know, there might be infidelity, there might be some lying, there might be some selfishness, there might be some trauma that your partner may have that they weren't even aware of. You know what I'm saying? And then, but it's like you have to work through it, man. I'm telling you, it's important. Now, don't put yourself in danger or anything like that. Get professional help. But it's like stuff like that. It matters to me, man, especially when at one point people loved each other. Because I think social media is messing with a lot of people's psyche. I think a lot of social media issues are going further than what we even know because we don't know the effects of watching other people's success. We're watching highlight reel after highlight reel after highlight reel. We're comparing our story to the next person, or the way we look to, man, I want to look like Johnny Depp. I want to look like Brad Pitt. Now, before 20 years ago, we compared ourselves to movie and TV shows. And it could be somebody that wasn't even attractive in that way, but because we constantly see them on TV, on TV, on TV, on TV, we think that they're successful. We think they're attractive. We think, I mean, you could look at serial killers that were on TV and all these women falling in love with them. You could see a criminal that was on, even on like social media. This one dude was a criminal, but because he had special jaw features and colored eyes and whatever, oh man, all these women loved him. And regardless of what his spirit is, and I don't know the dude, I'm just saying, regardless of what his spirit is and what his demeanor is, people are like, oh man, I just fell in love with who he is outside. He looks good. And he became a supermodel or whatever. And maybe he changed his life. Maybe that's what needed to happen. But I'm just saying, like, the way our brain works, we value people because we see them so much. Even in social media, we see these people that have a lot of followers. We see these people that are constantly creating content. We think that they have this great life, and we see them like way up here, and it's like, bro, they're just regular ass people that are just hustling, and they're hustling you, they're hustling me, they're hustling whoever, and that's what they're doing, and we fall for it because that's what our society is built off of. Now, I'm not saying everyone's doing that. I'm saying that that's just something that's prevalent on Instagram, and we constantly compare ourselves to somebody, whether it's women or men, and we think like, oh man, if only I can live that person's life. And all they're showing you is highlight reels, not knowing when they're broken, not knowing that they're, empty inside and that they're not fulfilled. So they have to cover up that with these lavish trips and these lavish cars and these lavish whatever, and we just keep pouring into them. For instance, the Kardashians, I don't know them. I don't know any of them. I've never met them. I don't know. But I know that the way I see it, this is my experience. None of those women are very talented at anything. They can't sing, they can't play instruments, they don't have doctorate degrees, they don't have whatever. You can say all these things, but it baffles me and it bothers me that they make billions or millions of dollars for looking good, for being, they're like idols that people worship on social media, and they make $1 million a post or whatever. I don't know what the numbers are. But we idolize them. The Bible tells us not to idolize anybody, no statue, no person. And that's what we do. We idolize these people. So many of us are doing it. And we give them all our money, all our time and attention. And when we see them, we believe that they have this gift of whatever. And I'm like, man, you compare that person, a Kardashian person, or, Kim Kardashian, whoever, I don't care who it is. And it's nothing against them personally. I'm just saying our society as a whole. There's people out here that have doctorate degrees that save people's lives, firefighters, doctors, whoever, teachers, whatever, that invest into our society, and they don't make a fraction of what those people are making. And it's like, oh, well, that's our society. It's like, man, it's free to, whatever. And I'm like, yes, man, but doesn't that bother your spirit that these people are making so much money, these people that are entertainers? Not everybody is talented, man. And then the most talented is not always the most popular. You got the Island Boys. Nothing against them. I don't know these guys. But for me, they look like clowns. They look like, just people that are, I don't know, man. They just, I don't want to say like derogatory things about them. But I'm saying, to me, they look like clownish guys that are just there. They have no talent. They're not the next Kanye West or the next Jay-Z. Nothing about them says that they're that kind of talent. But because our society has embraced that, we make these people famous and we make them rich. And it baffles me in my mind, because I'm like, wow, how long is that going to last? I don't know. Maybe they have management that's helping them invest their money. And I hope they do invest it, and I hope they make the best of it. But to me, that's how I see them. They don't seem very bright. They don't seem very intelligent. They don't seem a lot of things. And that's just my opinion, of course. But I value music. I value talent. I value people that bring substance to the world. But if you just became famous for being, for being stupid, and stupid, we support stupid, and we make people stupid. And yeah, we make all the memes and it's funny. But then I'm like, man, y'all just making these people famous and rich. And that's where we're at. And it's like, why don't y'all support people that are really making a difference and saving the forest, saving our, our kids, saving this, saving that? Why don't we make those people? Because that's just how we are. And it's unfortunate, but that's the truth. So I feel that, man, and it bothers me. And that's just the thing where I'm talking about. Like, when we look at society and we say the great awakening is happening, I'm all for it. I applaud it. I'm excited. But we have to understand too, man, there's a mirror that needs to be held to our face to know that, hey, you had something to do with this too. And remember, you made a covenant, you made a promise, you made this. Well, I'm gonna break my promise because it's toxic. That's like being on a basketball team. I told my son that. I was like, man, you may not have the best coach. That coach that you have may not understand basketball the way other coaches do. And you may want to be on a better team. You may want to be in a better situation. And I know they see it because they see LeBron left his situation. I'm not blaming LeBron. I'm just saying, I'm using it as an example. LeBron left that situation, and we can all say like, oh, well, they weren't making moves and they didn't do this, they didn't do that. And so he left for a better opportunity. Well, yeah, we could say that, man. That's the AAU mentality. A lot of the AAU players, like me growing up, I didn't try to go and get all the best players and put us all in one team. We played with what we had, and we made each other better. We knew what we liked to do. We knew what we were good at, and whatever we weren't good at, we worked on it on our days off. And if I wasn't good at left hand dribbling, we would work on that. If I wasn't good at, 3-pointers from the corner, we would work on that. If I wasn't good at rebounding, we would work on that. And then we grew together. A lot of people don't want to put that time in anymore. And the fact that we did what we did when we were younger and what my friends were able to accomplish means a lot to me. It has a lot of sentiment in it. But I think a lot of people, they want the elevator to success, man. Nobody wants to take the stairs. And I get it. But it's just like, man, it sucks because even now when I see these teams, it's like they rather leave a decent team that they grew up with because there's a better opportunity out there. And it's like they say, man, all money ain't good money. All opportunities are not better than what we think. Sometimes you need to go through those struggles to build up the foundation of what life's gonna come because when life hits you, and it will, you're not gonna always have someone to hold on to. You know what I'm saying? And when you hit the ground, are you going to get back up? And when it hits you again and you hit the ground, are you going to get back up? That's what life is, man. There's no destination in life. It's not about, you're going to figure it all out. And one day you're going to wake up and not have to deal with nothing. It's just, man, my life is good. Like, nah, man. Life has its ups and downs. All you got to do is find the balance in it. So when I talk to my son about basketball and he tells me, man, dad, this, I say, look, dude, you're in that situation for a reason. Either you're going to embrace it and step up and be the person, be the light that your team needs because your team thinks a specific way. They want to just play offense, no defense. And you have to be that example. You have to be what you want them to see. Like, whatever you want them to be, you got to be that person, man. And sometimes it's going to take more effort. And sometimes it's going to take more practice. And it's going to take more discipline. And it's going to take more pain. But I promise you, when you go through that on the other side of it, there's a light that's going to be shining. And it's going to shine a little bit brighter because you followed through. And you didn't take the hit and be like, oh, man, well, that basketball team is toxic, so I'm just going to dip. Like, it doesn't work that way in life. And life is not going to be like that. So when life is toxic, what, you're going to turn your back on life and just quit? You're going to give up on life because you had bad luck or you had, man, I tried this, I failed, I tried that, I tried that, I tried that. I tried 6 things and I failed, so life is toxic. And I'm just going to dip. I'm just going to kill myself. And no, man. God created you for a reason. Now, things are going bad. You have choice and you have a chance and you have a choice, man. Every time you wake up, you have a chance to get things right, and then you have a choice to make. Which way am I gonna go? Which route am I gonna take? And those are the things that you gotta deal with. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many distractions out there. So many distractions. You got YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You got trends. You got music. You got TV. You got all these things that are distracting us. And if you cut a lot of those things out and you start just chilling and figuring out what you want and who you are, I promise you things are going to change. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when you love people and you care about people, you don't turn your back on them. And you may have a limit and be like, you know what? I give you 3 chances, man. If you do me dirty in those 3 times and you verbally make that agreement, then cool. I'm not saying if you don't make that agreement, just stay there and be a piñata and let them just hit you. No, I'm just saying, like, understand that there has to be communication. Understand there has to be an understanding between you, your partner, your spouse, your whoever, your best friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, man. Understand a lot of us are not mature. A lot of us don't even know ourselves, let alone know what we want out of life and what we value. So it takes time. But man, I just feel like there's so much misinformation out there, or people are interpreting things to where it just benefits them. And it's like, imagine someone crying out for help and everyone keeps, turning their back on them because they're protecting their energy. I'm protecting my energy. I'm protecting my energy. Everybody's saying that. Everyone says I'm protecting my energy, so I turn my back on that dude. And then that dude ends up passing away. You don't know where he goes. Oh, well, he's not my responsibility. And it's like, man, yeah, when you're not spiritually connected to God, you're your brother's keeper, and we're all brothers and sisters under the sun of this great, this great author that created us. So those are things that I think, man. And like I said, these are my thoughts. I just wanted to put it out there to let people know. I know a lot of us are struggling. A lot of us are misinformed. A lot of us are trying to find our way. But at the end of the day, man, we have to understand that the source is God. God is the Almighty. God is good. God has given us so much. He's had mercy on me in so many ways. I've hurt people. I've done people wrong. I put myself in bad situations. I put my family in bad situations. I put the people that I love the most in bad situations. And I realized that. But I'm so grateful that a lot of people in my life never turned their back on me, because a lot of people, they went above and beyond to make sure that I was good. And a lot of people didn't, but the ones that mattered the most, the ones that needed to, they did. You know what I'm saying? And I've had a lot of great people in my life. And, the people that I love, I hold on to, man. And even past relationships, women that I've been with or whatever that I truly loved, I still care about them. I still care about them, and as people, you know what I'm saying? Because they played a role in my life when I needed them at that moment. They played that role. So imagine if they were like, oh no, Joe's toxic. Yeah, he has talent, but he's toxic because he doesn't understand loyalty. He doesn't understand how a relationship works. He doesn't understand how money works. He doesn't understand, how business works. He doesn't understand all these things. I have a long list of stuff that at the time I didn't understand. Now I understand a lot of this stuff because I've taken upon myself to say, you know what? These are the things that hurt my relationships in the past. These are the habits that I had that I needed to work on myself. So I needed to go through all that in order to get to the point where I'm at. Do I still need to learn? Absolutely. There's so much more that I have to learn. So much stuff that I have to process. So many other things that I have to experience. But for me, if I have the person that I love, that person that is my soulmate, the person that is created to walk beside me, not in front of me or behind me. They're here to walk beside me and let's go at this life together. That's what I want. That's what I value. I still value my friends. There's no friends that I have above me or beneath me. It's either you're with me and you're beside me. Wherever you are in your journey in life, either you own a house, you own a car, you don't own a car, you're still living at home with mom, blah, 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 blah. You can use me as a guide and be like, you know what? If Joe can do it, I can do it. And you don't have to do it exactly how I did it. You don't have to go through all the things that I went through. You don't have to make the same mistakes. I'm just saying that we're here to be a light, a guide for other people. I mean that. But if we have that mentality, like I'm telling you, man, if we have that mentality of, oh man, I gotta protect my energy, man. If you do me wrong, I'm leaving you. I'm cutting you off. Believe me, man, that's not the right thing to do. But I just think that we have a greater purpose than that, man. It's either you're gonna be a small little flashlight or you're gonna be a lighthouse to bring the ships in. And what kind of light are you? You gotta let your light shine, man. And the people with the most scars, the people that have the most you know what I'm saying, like oh man, the people with the most damage, basically, we're the ones that are the most compassionate. We're the ones that have the biggest heart. And we got the biggest wounds. Well, guess who has the biggest scars? Who got pierced? Who got whipped? Who had a crown of thorns on his head? Imagine if he had that kind of mentality. I'm going to protect my energy. Y'all are toxic. Jesus didn't hang out with all the positive people. He came for the poor. He came for the sinners. And you were once a sinner. You were once that person that was toxic. And now you just want to cast everybody out. I don't know, man. This message hits your heart. I hope it does, because it's, it's hitting mine. And you know, that's just a message, man. The Holy Spirit just moved me to share that today. And I hope it resonates with somebody, because I'm telling you, man, this world, you got so much deception, man. So much deception. We believe so much of what the media tells us. We believe so much of what people say. We believe, man is deceiving. It's something that we do. We deceive so much. And in this life, man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of lies. And it affects so many people. And I'm not saying forgive everybody. And just like I said, man, don't misinterpret this message. I'm not telling you to be there and just let yourself be beaten to the ground. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if God has mercy on you, man, pay it forward and have mercy on others, because we need each other. I need people, and I'm in the people industry, man. I'm not just into cutting hair. I need people to give me direction. I need people to share their experiences. I've learned more from people in cutting their hair than I have from school, than I've had from the internet, than I've had from social media, all that. All the wisdom that I've attained has been on a personal basis. Now, some people may be living a totally different life behind the scene, but when they're with me, they show their true colors. They tell me when they're weary. They tell me when their mom passed away, their dad passed away, their child passes away. I've experienced people that are going through cancer. I've experienced people that, have lost their job, have lost, their car got repoed, all types of stuff. But they're there and they're like, you know what, Joe, I just need a haircut to make me feel better, man. And, I don't have a job right now. I don't have this, man. And when God moves me, I move. I don't look at these people and be like, oh, man, you must have bad juju. You must have bad luck in your life. So I got to take you and remove you, because I don't want that in me. I'm doing good right now. Money good. I got money in the bank. I got this, my car. Look at me, man. I'm in the best shape of my life, man. You need to, tie your shoes and get up off your ass and make something and stop being. You have to go through that grieving process. You have to internalize things and allow things to wake up your senses inside of you. A lot of people don't even know how to handle heartache because they've never been allowed to. Mama and daddy or whoever always, oh man, let me pick you up. Oh, poor baby. Oh, my poor baby. Oh, my poor baby. Every time something bad happens, it's all poor baby. It's like, nah, man. You got to let your kid realize the cause and effect, that there is repercussions for you doing things. You made a choice, and you freely have that choice to do whatever it is that you want to do. Say what you want to say, but you do not get to pick the consequences. You and I do not get to pick the consequences for all our actions, all our choices. So guess who has to have mercy on us? Be merciful. Be understanding. Be a light. Y'all stay blessed and y'all stay faded.